Hi, I'm Mike, owner of the In-Groove in Phoenix, Arizona. So they just announced the Record Store Day Black Friday list. So this isn't technically a record store day. There's only one of those a year. But Black Friday is kind of like a mini record store day type event. Very similar, but about a fourth of the size, as far as the amount of releases. And also these releases are geared more towards selling throughout the holiday season. So a little bit different in their selection of these particular releases. But I kind of gone over the list a total of about 5 minutes, and I thought to myself, uh, let's film. I was going to do a live stream on it, but I figured, that could take forever. Let's just shoot a video on it and kind of talk about the list a little bit and go over it with you guys here on video. So I will say I'm not personally, for what I'm looking for, this list isn't great for me. But I feel like record store day lists in general, it doesn't matter. There's very few people that are in love with everything, but it seems like most people always get a good 4 or 5 titles. I feel like the typical answer to every single record store day list is, oh yeah, this is a crappy list, but there's 4 or 5 titles that I'm interested in. But as far as I can remember back, that's always really been the case. I don't remember very many people ever telling me this list is amazing and I need to buy half of it. That's never really been a thing. But from a store perspective, there's nothing on here that I think is going to be really heavy. A couple of titles better than others, I know, for me and my customers. But let's go over them. Some of the standouts. Now, of course, I don't know everything about every one of these records, and there's always a couple of records that surprise me. So if there's something that I'm glazing over here that's going to be the hot release, tell me in the comments below, because that'll help me order it. So, but let's start at the very top. I got the list pulled up. I got my laptop here. They're doing a 13th floor elevators, Bull of the Woods. Not the best 13th floor elevator record, but not really super easy to get. It's not like Psychedelic Sounds, where there's a million reissues of it. So that's getting done. It looks like that is what? Limited to... Now this is off the Record Store Day website. 3,500 copies. Specialty color vinyl. Let's see, there's a Jeff Beck tribute. Winnie the Pooh. I guess this is the soundtrack to that Winnie the Pooh horror film. Couple of good, strong jazz titles, I think. That's kind of been a pretty consistent thing every single year. Marion Brown and Leo Smith. That's being done by Org. 1,400 copies. Not a record I'm familiar with. Again, I've just quickly perused this list about 10 minutes ago. Captain Beefheart. Again, not my thing, but I think this will be relatively popular. They're doing a 45th anniversary of Shiny Beast. It's let's see. It looks like a 2 LP set. So I guess you got the album and a bunch of demos and instrumentals. All right, moving on. They're doing an Eric Carr of Kiss picture disc of Rockology. That was a surprise title for us last year. It did better than I thought it would. Do we need a picture disc of it? Probably not. Okay. This is one that I could go either way on because I'm not a fan. So Coheed and Cambria, live at the Starland Ballroom. They're doing 4,900 of these. Again, these numbers are according to Record Store Day's website. This is a title that I feel like could be a huge smash hit. Tons of people looking for Coheed and Cambria stuff. Is very desirable on vinyl, and a lot of it goes for $100+. So I could see this being pretty popular. That's one that I'm probably going to order a little heavy on. Cypress Hill, Black Sunday remixes. I feel like I just found an original of this actually in a collection, in that Canadian collection. But 3,100 copies. Eric Dolphy, Iron Man. This is on Culture Factory to 2,200 copies. The jazz titles are pretty good. So now my number one so far, again, quickly skimming this list, is The Doors. Live in Bakersfield. That was a release that was known to exist, or that was a concert that was known to exist, but was always said by the Doors management that it's not good enough to put out. And I think a lot of that had to do with a couple of tracks having dropouts. I think they just took that off, that track off. I think Light My Fire was a track that had some issues, and I just don't see it on here. It's known to be in that set list, but that's not on here. It's a 2 LP set, but this is one of my favorite. I know it's kind of the Doors towards the end of their career, but I like this concert style for the Doors. That is essentially where they vamped melodies to where one song runs into another, into another, into another. You know, they're kind of in melody form, and they're actually presented on the album in melody form. It's a little bit weird because it says it's the first official release or official release of Someday Soon, which I don't even think was performed at this show. I feel like that was a Seattle. I'd have to go back into the archives here online and look at it, but I feel like that was done in Seattle, not at this show. So maybe we're going to get live in Seattle, which would be awesome. But it mentions Someday Soon as part of this record, but then in the set list, it doesn't mention Someday Soon. Anyways, this is going to be really popular. The Doors live, fantastic. The cover looks really cool. This is a cool release. I think this for me is the release of Black Friday. They're doing 7,500 of them, which probably will not be enough, but maybe. This is another cool one. Although I'm not a fan, this really plays on my nostalgia here, and that is they're doing a Dr. Dre Chronic CD, but they're putting it in an original long box like it would have came out when it was new. Long boxes, if you're not familiar, long boxes were essentially half the size of a vinyl disc. So I'm going to happen to have a Doris here record here. If you can imagine, a long box was about this size. And a CD long box was made for record stores to just be able to put the long boxes 2 at a time in a vinyl record bin. This way, record stores didn't have to buy new racking. And they also acted as a security feature by making them bigger and harder to steal. So they're doing them in long boxes. Long boxes lasted for probably about 10 years of the CD era. By the early 90s, they were pretty much phased away. But you know, and then they started doing those plastic clams. I don't know if you remember seeing those, for you guys old enough to remember buying CDs in a store when they were mainstream, like, you know, Walmart, Target, that kind of thing. They came in those long anti-theft devices. So this is kind of cool because they're putting it in a long box. Am I going to get one? No. But if I was a Dr. Dre Chronic fan, this would be kind of cool to own. Okay, let's see. Bill Evans. They're doing Live in Copenhagen, 1964, on Elemental, 3,650 copies. The Elemental music stuff is, especially for Bill Evans, it's either like rock solid, awesome, amazing, gotta own it, or like, that was a nice listen, I'm not gonna do that twice. So, could go either way. It really could. I don't know until you don't know until you hear it, really. Let's see, Faces. This looks really good. I love the Faces. This is live at the BBC. What are they doing on here? Orange vinyl, 2-sided. Rod, Ronnie Lane, Ron Wood. This is probably going to be quite good. Baby, I'm amazed. What is this? Features the classics. Yeah, this is classic lineup. This looks really good. I'm probably going to get this too. This is weird. So they're doing a decent amount of CD releases too. It seems like there's a few more CD releases than normal. They're doing Gil Scott-Heron Winter in America on Strata, originally on Strata. Very, very difficult records to get. They're starting to reissue a lot of them. And this is kind of cool. It's being done by Culture Factory. Record Store Day, Black Friday, Record Store Day exclusive on white and black vinyl. Matches their logo. 3,000. That could be good. They're doing that as a CD as well. All right, so let's see. I'm just skimming again, just looking at some of the stuff. Jerry Lewis at the Palomino Club. This could be good. Some of his concerts are absolutely killer. Killer shows. When was this? It looks like, it looks like 60s era from the photograph, but it doesn't really tell much. I guess you might have to be... Oh no, it's commemorating his introduction into the Country Music Hall of Fame. Oh, maybe that's this year. I don't know. I don't know. This set list looks pretty awesome. More rock than country. This looks really good. I love Jerry Lee Lewis. That could be really good. Saw him live opening for Dion. Won tickets. My girlfriend won tickets on a radio station It was like back-to-back tickets. She was winning some tickets back in the day. She won tickets to that big Monkees reunion that took place in 2001. 2000 maybe? 2000? Maybe 99. In that 99, 2000 era. And I'll tell you, that was, that Jerry, God, he must have been 70 at the time. It was still a hell of a show. Really good. Okay. Let's see. Motley Crue. Too Young to Fall in Love EP to 3,500. Let's see. Shotgun Willie. That was just done as a Vinyl Me Please title. Wasn't it? What is this? Okay, so this is the disc with a bonus disc of outtakes. Alternative and outtakes and alternative cuts. Sia, Every Day is Christmas. This is white and red splatter wax. Popular album. It does really well around the holidays. So this is, again, it's not anything anybody's going to be like crazy, like I gotta have this Sia record, but this is something that's going to sell like for a couple of months. It's not, or at least throughout the holiday. And then it'll be sold out if I don't sell out immediately next Christmas season. They're doing Get Off, Prince. It is a recreation of the original promo 12-inch to 7,000. Let's see, Ravi Shankar. Again, for me personally, there's not a ton of stuff I'm, hyped up on this list for. I love Rob Zombie, but now they're doing, what is this, a picture disc of his last album? I mean, limited to 2,200, but Let's see. Okay, so that was the Record Store Day exclusive releases. Exclusive releases typically mean you're not going to see them again or anytime soon. Then they do Record Store Day first releases, which are things that the label plans on doing sooner than later. What is this? They're doing the Eric Carr as a CD picture disc edition. Oh, limited to 1,000. But I laughed last time and people were going nuts over it. This looks pretty good. Dexter Gordon today in Copenhagen. Regional release, focus release. I guess they're only doing 1,000 of them. Let's see. Limp Bizkit. Let's see. Is this live in 2001? But this is a CD. All right. God, that was, what was that? That was the regional focus releases. So I don't know how those work. I guess they try to put them in a certain area, but I've had some regional focus releases that dealt with Arizona artists that in the past, but I've always seen those kind of come out everywhere. So I don't know. Good thing about Record Store Day in general, though, is very few 7-inches, which is good. I do better with the CDs than the 7-inches. So if we're going to see something that's not vinyl, LP 12-inch format, it's nice to see it come out as at least a CD. 7-inches were the bane of my existence for a while. Beach Boys Christmas album, again, they're doing 7,000 of them. It's not like you can't go buy this record for $25, but it's on green vinyl. Beach Boys holiday seasons are upon us. I mean, it's going to sell. Dierks Bentley, Up on the Ridge. Actually, I had one of these in the store maybe about a year and a half ago, and this was an expensive album, so this actually might be quite popular. I want to say, I need to look on Discogs. I'm going to check that out here while we're filming. It's kind of like a live stream, but not really. So that record, I want to say back then, was quite expensive, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, the median cheapest for sale right now is $100, so that'll probably be pretty popular. Let's see. Oh, we got a lot of hip hop, which again, it's not my thing, but it sells really, really well on Record Store Day. It's always the stuff that takes me by surprise. Let's see, Mr. Bongo is doing Terry Kelly. Let's see, what is that? Speak Your Piece to 1,000 copies. There is a 3 Feet High and Rising 7-inch box set. So I'm guessing it's the whole album. Yeah, it's the whole album. At 7 inches. Let's see, 12 7-inches with a slip mat. 7-inch slip mat. They're doing the Doors on CD as well. Let's see. Doors on CD. What is this? Getting towards the end of the list. Again, it's a pretty small list. A couple of jazz titles, a couple of audiophile jazz titles. They're doing, Kraft is continuing this, and I think this is a fantastic thing that they're doing. Maybe this isn't the greatest title ever, but it's actually a very good title. And it's Gil Evans and 10. This is by Kraft, originally on Prestige. The stereo pressing of this is part of Analog Productions Prestige series, but this is a mono cut, a mono cut from the original master tape, cut by Kevin Gray, limited to 4,200. They've done it with Chet Baker. They did it with the Kenny Dorham. So titles that have come out on other labels and other series. They do dedicated mono mixes. They did Art Pepper Meets the Rhythm section. They do dedicated mono mixes for Record Store Day. And I gotta say, it's always generally one of my best sellers. Now, granted, the last time they did this was Art Pepper Meets the Rhythm section. Not quite the same caliber. This isn't quite the same caliber as that, but this will still be popular. All analog, cut by Kevin Gray, and it is a really good album. Here's another one that is kind of an audiophile focus. It's Chico Hamilton's The Master. All analog, cut from the master tape, but it's done by Takeout Vinyl, Jeff Powell, who's done some stuff in the past that's actually been quite good. This, though, is an album that's not that expensive to get. It's like difficult to find, actually. I don't see it very often, but it's like a $20 record. But it's on the Isaiah Hayes' Enterprise, and I find it very difficult to find those clean and quiet. So that could be a welcome addition. John Lee Hooker, Live at the Cafe at Go-Go, that could be good. All right, we've got Ahmad Jamal, Emerald City Nights, Live at the Penthouse, 1966, 1968. Jazz Detective, they're doing 2,300 of these. This could be good. The Knack, live in 1980. Let's see, doing 2,000 copies. Curious what that sounds like. All right. The Mamas and the Papas, live at the Monterey International Pop Festival. They've done a few of these in the past. They did a few for Woodstock, and now they've done a few continuing, kind of like a series where even the covers look similar. They're doing the Monterey Pop Festival. Let's see. Missing Persons, live in New York, 1981. I actually like Missing Persons. Let's see. Walking in LA. Big hit. It's a good set list. Actually, Noticeable One, I think, is one of my favorite Missing Persons song. That's what I was looking for. I could do without Walking in LA. It's been played to death, but I'm a big fan of Noticeable One. Live, they did a killer job on that live. There's some videos of it online. 1,500 copies, so pretty rare. A lot of jazz, actually. Charles Mingus on Candid. Incarnations, doing 3,000 copies of them. These so far have all been cut. Yeah, remastered by Bernie Grundman. And this is a newly discovered, previously unreleased recording, remastered and cut by Bernie Grundman. Almost all of these, from my knowledge, have been cut from the original master tape by Bernie Grundman. This, because it's unreleased, maybe not, but possibly this is all analog as well. The Monkees, self-titled, Friday Music. What is this? Just first time ever gatefold cover exclusive. Woo! Okay. Yeah, I guess the jazz. I mean, I'm looking at this list. The jazz seems to be, let's see, Wes Montgomery and the Wynton Kelly Trio. Let's see, Resonance Records. They're doing 3,000 of them. That looks like it's going to be pretty good. Let's see, they're doing Tools Anemia. I'm just joking. Why would they do that? Everybody wants it. They're not going to do that. No, we're going to get this next title instead. We're going to get Ripple, self-titled, on Yip Rock Records. Every time I get a Record Store Day release in the back of my mind, I'm like, are we going to get it? Are we finally going to get the... That's like the record everybody wants. That's like the holdout of everything that's waiting to come. This could be good. Sparks live at the record plant, 1974. I'll probably pick this one up. Only 2,000 copies. I want to say this might be the US numbers. I feel like these numbers are a little low, but this is probably the US numbers, and we're probably going to see a little higher number count when it actually comes to worldwide release. God, look at the jazz releases. We got Black Jazz, the complete singles. Cal Jader, Catch the Groove, live at the Penthouse. That is on Jazz Detective to 2,000 copies. Now we're getting into the comps. What is this? Red Hot and Ron, Nuclear War. Let's see. That looks pretty cool. Limited to 1,100. It's a tribute to Sun Ra. Nuclear War, great tune. They're doing a run of hip-hop comps, which will probably be popular. Lil Wayne, I Am Music. I feel like for me, Lil Wayne doesn't quite sell very well anymore. Not like it used to. On Republic, 5,000 copies. But again, I'm not known as a hip-hop store. Although we have, I want to say as a store, if you come to Phoenix, we have probably the largest hip-hop section in Arizona, vinyl-wise. I mean, I probably got about 1,500, 15 to 100, 1,800 hip-hop albums in the bins, which is a pretty hefty chunk. But yeah, that is it. Tell me below what you guys are interested in. I think there's about 4 or 5 titles there that I'm a pretty solid yes on. I feel like there'll be some things I didn't notice on this initial go around, and I'll, oh yeah, I should give that a try too. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. All right, guys, until next time.